information, as you stated that the premises of the religious body, like the Buddhists, or let's say Christianity or Islam, it's better we go there, visit them, and then interact them and solicit for certain informations regarding their faith or their practices. So my question is, assuming if you don't go to their premises, where the place of worship, and then you identify some of the key leaders of that particular faith, can you consult them privately and also uh, solicit for certain information? And that one too, can it be considered as first-hand information or second-hand information?
Well, thank you, Alaji. When we say go to the people, we mean the adherents of that faith. If, for example, that person is your neighbor, you can walk to your neighbor and ask your neighbor, I know you belong to this religious sect. I hear, or not that even I hear, I see that you wear a certain dress. What exactly does it mean to wear that dress? I see that you walk barefooted to church. Why do you walk barefooted to church? I see that because of the religion you belong to, you don't do this, you don't do that, or you do this, or you do that. You want to understand. Whatever your neighbor would tell you is a primary information, because he or she will be speaking to you from the perspective of the believer or of the adherent of that faith. At times it is when you are going to the people in their place of worship, in situations like this, you want to have a first-hand feel, knowledge about what they do. So you may even want to participate. That is what we call participant observation. So you are an observer, but in this instance, you are even participating. And as you participate, you're able to also ask questions to find out why they do what they do. And that gives you an experience of their beliefs. But if, like I said, the person is your neighbor and you walk across your room to your neighbor's house, door, and speak with your neighbor, that certainly will also be a first-hand information. I have had the opportunity to invite the Hindu monastery head to come and speak with my students. Somebody's microphone is on, please. To come and speak with my students. Then I invited him. He spoke with my student on a Wednesday. Then the Sunday we went to the monastery to have a first-hand feel as far as my students are concerned. And so for the information he gave us when he came to us on campus and the information we got when we went to them, those are also first-hand information. So in terms of first-hand, as long as you are getting the information from the adherent, It doesn't matter where you met the person to speak with. That information is still a first-hand information. I hope I've answered your question. Alaji, I hope I've answered your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So you can drop your hand so that we know that. Any other question? Any other question? Alaji, you can drop your hand. Any other question? So who can tell me what we discussed last week? Since I have your names on the screen, I will be calling names if nobody is going to talk. Yes, who can? Hello?
Yes, sir, we are here, sir, please.
I know you are here, so who can tell us, give us a recap of last week's discussions?
Yeah, please, sir, let me try.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we started by looking at what a comparative religion is. And then we look at various scholars, how they define comparative religion. So we first look at Louis Jordan, 1905, his definition, and then others. We also further move on to discuss about the names of the discipline, that is religion as science, as history, and phenology. So with the science, we said that it uses scientific method and scholarly based approach to find out the information. And then with the history, we also talk about, it's one of the branches of religion where the researcher examine how religion originated, developed, and change, and then interact with over time. Then with the phenology, we said that it examines the beliefs, the practices, and the experience of adherents themselves. Then we further move on to the methodology of study comparative. So I was able to write, it must be objective, that is avoid bias. And then 2, it must be use of scientific method in its inquiry. It requires humility, first-hand information, and variability. And then last one, it avoid comparison between the religious bodies. So this is what I was able to capture. Say, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Fofi. Any other person? Yes, any other person?
Hello, sir.
Yes, please.
Good afternoon,
Matthew.
sir.
Good afternoon.
So we continued by looking at the principles employed by natural scientists in comparative studies. And we looked at humility, which is epoche, explaining it as we are expected to begin a study without any preconception or any prejudice. We need to put aside all our beliefs or our personal convictions when going into such studies. And then we also looked at first-hand information, which is the eidetic. That is, we are to go into the ethos or the nature of a religion. We don't need to rely on we shouldn't rely so much on secondary sources, but conducting the research on first-hand experiences and sources. And then we can also conduct the research as a participant observer so that we can experience what they're experiencing and be able to better explain what it is that they're experiencing. Then we also looked at objectivity. That is, we need to be objective about whatever it is we are studying. We shouldn't put aside we shouldn't include our beliefs or our prior understandings, or we shouldn't be biased in explaining the research that we are going into. And then we moved on by looking at the reasons for the study of comparative religion. And we understand that we go into the study of comparative religion in order to appreciate the fact that there are several other religions to know, other ways to worship God. And then it also helps us to inculcate in students the ability to treat issues relating to religion in an academic way, not exactly in a religious way, but in an academic manner. 3, it also helps us to form a general opinion in the world's religion without being attached to one single religion. So we understand that there are several religions in the world and not necessarily attaching ourselves to the religion under study. And when we study comparative religion, it also helps to promote peaceful coexistence among the various religious bodies in our society or in the world. It also helps to present unbiased accounts of the world's religion from the point of view of the adherents. So when we study religion from the point of view of the adherents, you're able to better understand them and present an unbiased account without including our own beliefs and understanding. Then from there, I think we move on to Avatara in Hinduism. And Avatara is explained as the manifestation of a deity in the physical world, according to Hinduism.
Okay, it's okay. Thank you. Thank you for that comprehensive description, and thank you, Fofi, as well. We'll continue from where Matthew left off. Avatara in Hinduism, and we made a point that Avatara simply means the descent or the coming down of a deity. And in the context of Hinduism, the deity that is associated with the phenomenon of Avatara is Vishnu. And in Hindu mythology, Vishnu is the second deity of the Hindu triad. I explain the triad as the 3 principal deities of Hinduism who are responsible for creation, that is Brahma, preservation of creation, that is Vishnu, and then destruction and renewal, that is Shiva. So in the avatar, the various avatar we have spoken of, they refer to the coming of Vishnu. And let me also make this point that these are mythologies. These are not historical events. They are mythologies. And so you see that some of the stories may sound, weird to our ears because we are not used to them. the same way stories from among our forefathers and foremothers, when it is told an European or an American, it will sound funny as well. Now, we have looked at the first 6 avatars last week. We are left with 4 more, and we will quickly do well to run through them this afternoon. So the 6th avatar we looked at was Parasurama. I mean, in the literature, he is referred to as a Rama with the axe. The 7th avatar is also called Rama. This is Lord Rama. Now, in the Indian literature, one of the Indian literature is the Ramayana. Ramayana is the Ramayana is one of the Hindu sacred texts. And in the Ramayana, the central character in that sacred text is Lord Rama. Lord Rama. Now, an interesting story is told about Lord Rama. Rama got married to a lady called Sita. And in the course of time, Sita was kidnapped by a demon, Ravana. And this demon tormented the gods. In order to try to rescue his beloved Sita, Rama had to rely on the benevolence of the monkey king Hanuman. And Hanuman helped Rama, fought and defeated the demon Ravana, and then rescued Sita and brought her back to join Rama. Now, there's something interesting about this act. And of course, it is seen in Buddhism. Now, we say as scholars that Buddhism, as it was established by Siddhartha Gautama, has no belief in the gods. And one of the reasons, if not the main reason, the Buddha gives in repudiating the gods is the action of Rama, who, when his wife was kidnapped by the demon Ravana, could not on his own volition, on his own power, go ahead to rescue the wife, but had to fall on the services of Hanuman, the monkey king, to be able to rescue his wife. And so Buddha would make the point that the gods don't have any power. If they do, they will not sit by and watch themselves getting defeated by the demons, and will have to rely on the powers of others to be able to rescue their even loved ones. And so the central idea in in the seventh avatar has to do with Rama, with the help of the monkey god Hanuman, rescuing Sita from the bondage of the demon Ravana. So that was the seventh avatar. Then comes the eighth avatar. The avatar of Lord Krishna. Now the story about Krishna is very interesting. Krishna is depicted as a charismatic person. You can, these things we talk about, you can Google and read about them. Krishna was born at the time when his uncle was ruling, and he was a very wicked person, terrorizing his own people. So from the mythology, Vishnu had to come, as we have been told, that anytime there is disorder, there is chaos, there is wickedness abound, Vishnu appears to right the wrongs. So Vishnu comes in the form of Lord Krishna. It is said in the mythology that some sages told Krishna's the uncle, that is the mother's brother, who was the king, that the sister was going to give birth to a boy, and if he doesn't take action, the boy will grow up to kill him. So the uncle from the mythology detained the sister and the husband in a prison. But it is said that whenever the sister became pregnant, if she gave birth and the baby was a boy, then he would order that the boy be destroyed. If the baby was a girl, he will spare the life of the baby girl, because after all, the soothsayers or the sages were talked about a boy, not a girl. Then on that fateful day, according to the mythology, Vishnu appears to the parent and told them that he was going to come through them, and when he was born, or when he will be born, around that same time, a baby girl will be born in town. The father should take the baby boy and go and exchange him with the baby girl and bring the baby girl. The mythology says that the woman became pregnant, she gave birth, and the father did what she was told. So in the morning, when the brother was saying, "Oh, your sister has given birth. Is it a boy or a girl? Oh, it seems to be a girl. Well, if it is a girl, allow her to live." So he didn't take action. But unknown to him, the boy was actually being taken care of somewhere. And when he was 5 years old, the mythology says he killed his uncle, the wicked king. But very interesting stuff about Krishna. He was somebody who fell in love with some cowgirls. And the mythology says that he danced with the girls simultaneously at the same time. Also, there was this lady who was married, Radha. The mythology says that Krishna also fell in love with Radha, and Radha had to abandon the husband and cling on to Krishna. Now, there's something that is attributed to Krishna, and when we get to look at salvation, we will mention it, but just to make the point here, Krishna introduced into the Indian society, the Indian religion, the Hindu religion, what is known as Bhakti. Bhakti, B-A-K-H-T-I, Bhakti. Bhakti simply means devotion. Simply means devotion. Krishna realized something, that salvation in Hinduism was restricted. In the Indian caste system, there are 4 main castes. We have the priests, the Brahmins, they are the priests, they also follow the Malams of the community. We have the Kshatriya, they are the royals, the princes, the soldiers. We have the Maisha, they are the business mercantile class. And finally, we have the Sudra, the slaves. Now, in Hindu mythology, the first 3 are known as the twice borns. The first 3 have the privilege of listening to the Vedas. They have the privilege of getting sacrifice done on their behalf. They can read the scriptures or have it read on their behalf. In fact, they could do anything in the Hindu society in a bid to even attain salvation. Now, in this avatar, Krishna came to change the status quo. In other words, he introduced what we call the dispensation of grace. The dispensation of grace. Krishna said, you no longer need sacrifices. You no longer need reading of the Vedas and other rituals performed for you before you can attain salvation. He says, look up to me, rely on me, follow my dharma, my teachings, and thou will attain moksha. Thou will attain moksha. And so in this dispensation, Krishna came to introduce the dispensation of grace by telling the people that if they want salvation, then they should not look any further. They should look at him. They should show devotion to him and pray to him, and he will help them to attain moksha. And in the text of moksha Krishna is not the only deity that can help one attain moksha. So as many gods as they would open themselves, all that is telling the Sudra class, especially those classes has been denied the opportunity to attain moksha, is
Okay.
attain.
The word you mentioned right now, is it? Can I get the spelling, please? Posture or something like that.
Come again.
What you mentioned, is it moisture? I can't hear you clearly, please. If I can get the spelling.
Moksha, moksha. Moksha, moksha.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. We'll come to meet moksha. We'll talk about salvation. We'll exemplify them again. And so I think a microphone is on. Please, if you can put it off so that you don't get a Daniel, I think your microphone is on. Daniel Dapa. Daniel Dapa, are you there? So that was Krishna and how important he is. He is considered to be charismatic. He is considered to have revolutionized the Hindu religion by introducing the concept of bhakti as far as the road to end salvation is concerned. The ninth avatar, this ninth avatar is a little bit controversial. Buddhists disagree with the point that the Buddha is the ninth avatar. They reckon that it is just a means Hindus are using to subjugate Buddhism. But in this avatar, if we go by the notion of Buddha being the ninth avatar, it means he came to introduce the concept of salvation by dealing with the problem of suffering. I mean, when you study Buddhism, the Buddha, when he was born, came up against suffering as a concept in the Hindu society, in the society he found himself. Of course, the Buddha was born a Hindu. And so he left home one day and set out to look for the solution to the problem of suffering. And eventually he got the solution, which he captured in his Four Noble Truths. And so in this avatar, Buddha is depicted as finding solutions to the problem of suffering. Then we'll take the 10th and final avatar. The avatar of Kalkin or Kalki. Now, if you go back to the beginning of the discussions, we make the point that the avatar has two main purposes. One is soteriology. Soteriology simply means salvation. And so you see that in all the nine avatars we have talked about, you see how Vishnu come in to deal with a problem that threatens existence of human life. Now, in this 10th avatar, we want to see how the avatar reflects or depicts the second purpose of Avatara, which is, eschatology. Eschatology simply means the end of time. Now, in this 10th avatar, it is said that Vishnu will come as Kalki, and his coming will bring to an end the period under scrutiny. Kalkin will come mounting a horse holding a flaming sword. And when he descends, I had mentioned the triad, the Hindu triad. The third of the Hindu triad, Vishnu, is going to perform a ritual dance. The ritual dance is called the Tendava dance. Tendava dance. When Shiva or Siva concludes this ritual dance, the world will be destroyed and recreated anew, and will be ushered into a golden age of peace and of bliss. So this avatar is important because it is an avatar that will give the opportunity for the world to be recreated anew and for life to begin afresh. So that is the 10 acceptable avatars of Vishnu. Any question? Any question?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, let me listen to you.
Stephanie, the seventh avatar. We were talking about the central idea of the seventh avatar, but I didn't get that one very well.
I said that the central idea in the seventh avatar was the rescue of Sita. Like I said, Lord Rama got married to Sita, the wife. And in the course of time, Sita was kidnapped by the demon king, by a demon called Ravana. And it was difficult for Rama alone to go and fight and rescue Sita. Fortunately, he got the assistance of Hanuman, the monkey king. Together with his soldiers, they joined forces with Rama to go fight with Ravana and his demons, and were successful in rescuing Satan from the clutches of the demon. And I make the point again that this act is what has fueled the Buddhist perception that Hinduism, or that the gods who are in Hinduism are weak and no one should follow them. In fact, the Buddha is quoted to have said that the gods themselves are so weak that they cannot fight their own battles unless they go and seek help. And so the central idea has to do with the rescue of a soul that has been kidnapped. I hope I'm clear.
Yes, please. But the one who helped Rama to rescue Sita, Hanuman, can you please help me get the spelling right?
Hanuman is Hannuman. Hanuman.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Any other question?
Please say, with regards to the abattoirs, so when it comes to an exams, we are going to narrate it as you are doing it.
If the question says you should narrate it, so why not? As for exams, you respond to the question.
Okay, sir.
You heard me? So
Yes, sir.
if the question comes and the question says narrate this story, then you narrate. So not until you see the question, you can't respond to it.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Any other question? Yes, any other question?
Sir, please, I'm back again. The ninth avatar.
Yes.
As I don't seem to get the whole thing about the ninth avatar very well. Maybe because it's a bit controversial. Because when I read what is on the slide, I don't seem to get it very well. I don't know whether the narration couldn't join pieces together. Thank you.
Yeah. The slides, the ninth avatar. Now, like I said, that the ninth avatar, Hindus describe Buddha as an avatar of Vishnu. Some other literature may say the name of the ninth avatar is Balarama. But Buddha is the one that is widely accepted as the ninth avatar of Vishnu. And in speaking of Buddha, I made a point that, of course, I said Buddhists disagree with this notion that Buddha is a ninth avatar. But that really is not even the point we are dealing with. We are looking at who the Buddha is in the context of the avatar. And we're saying that the avatar happens, or Vishnu descends, when there is challenge. And there was a challenge of suffering and how to overcome the problem of suffering. So Buddha came and introduced some concept that when we follow, it will bring suffering to an end. We call it the Four Noble Truths. The Four Noble Truths of the Buddha. So everything in this world involves suffering. Noble Truth 1. We suffer because of cravings. Noble Truth 2. Suffering can cease when cravings die. Noble Truth 3. And cravings or suffering can cease when we follow the Eightfold Path. Noble Truth 4. And so in this avatar, it is being depicted that Vishnu came as Buddha to end the challenge of suffering among the people. That is basically what this avatar seeks to do. I don't know whether I've made sense.
Yes, Doc. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Now let's move to incarnation in Christianity then. Of course, in Christianity, incarnation is a key central doctrine. But like I said, the term avatara and incarnation are twin words. So they mean the same. The meaning that we ascribe to avatara is the same meaning we are ascribing to incarnation. The doctrine that says that God came down and took on a fleshly body in the person of Jesus Christ. In Christian theology, Jesus is considered as both divine and human. And as human, he is God's incarnate. So for those of you who read the Bible, when you go to John chapter 1, verses 1 all the way to, is it 5 or 6 or thereabouts, we are told about how in the beginning God existed and how God came down to dwell amongst men. So when you read that verse, certain ideas pop up. One, that Jesus pre-existed. Two, that Jesus was the wisdom of God. Three, that Jesus was the agent of creation. Four, that Jesus was one with God. And also Jesus took on flesh to save men from the bondage of sin. The purpose of incarnation is the same as avatara. The reason I said that avatara and incarnation are win concept. They are like two sides of the same coin. So for soteriology and eschatology. Now, to understand incarnation in Christianity, we need to look at the life of Christ and his ministry. So, through the ministry of Jesus Christ, soteriology is revealed. I mean, soteriology has to do with salvation, has to do with dealing with challenges, ensuring that people who find themselves in some tight corner are relieved. Now, when you do analysis of Jesus's ministry, you talked about grace. In fact, like that Krishna did, Jesus is also depicted to have introduced the concept of grace. He made it possible for every individual who so want to be saved, or what we call the dispensation of grace. Just as Krishna is credited for introducing the dispensation of grace in his time, Jesus also is credited for introducing the dispensation of grace. And so when you read his stories, hold on, give me a minute. Sorry. So Jesus in his ministry introduced that dispensation of grace. Of course, he taught about love. He taught about love. He did not only teach, but also had practical solutions to problems. To problems he encountered. And we see this through his miracles. He healed the sick, he fed the hungry. And one of the stories in the Gospels, he had taken the people to the desert for many hours, and he realized that the people were not responding to his preaching. Then he noticed they were hungry. So he asked, can we find food for them? How can we feed this multitude? We didn't bring any food. Then a small boy who came prepared said, oh, I have this loaf of bread and this number of fishes. I'm sure many of you are familiar with that story. He fed the people and there was even leftover. And so when you look at the life of Christ, his teachings, he opened the way to salvation for people to get to know God. So in terms of his personal life, in terms of his public life, he fought against injustice. If you are familiar with the gospel stories, you see he's running battles with the authorities of the day. The Pharisees, the Sadducees, the Herodians, the Roman authority. Eventually, he had to pay with his life as far as his fight with the authorities were concerned. So we see technology in his mission. We see the quest to bring salvation. Like I said, similar to the time of the Buddha, of Krishna, salvation in the Jewish religion was limited to only Jews. Anybody who was not a Jew was considered to be an outcast. But Jesus came in the image of God to restore that broken relationship and also to make it possible for anyone who wants to be saved to be saved. The reason we also say that Jesus introduced the dispensation of grace. And so if you are familiar with the story, which I believe a lot of you are familiar with, in one instance, he was going somewhere, he felt thirsty. He saw a woman fetching water and he begged for water. And the woman was surprised. Not because he was begging her for water, but because she was a Samaritan woman. And if you know the story of the Samaritans, when Israel was conquered, Samaria became the capital of Southern Kingdom under Jeroboam I. Jerusalem was the capital of the Northern Kingdom under David and his children. So when Nebuchadnezzar took Israel. The policy of Nebuchadnezzar was he conquers a territory and he would displace all the people there and will bring in people from other area.
Upon so we one na Jimmy another.
Pearl, your So the people who, when Samaria was captured, Nebuchadnezzar moved all the people away. But it's like, as in every situation, there will be what we call the remnant. So some people survived the exile and were not deported. So they remained on the land. Now, the people, the Jewish at the time of Jesus, referred to as the Samaritans, were actually the products of the foreigners who came to live on the land, who married the remnant women and had children with them. So if you've done some Old Testament, you'll be told about the return of the exile under Zerubbabel, under Ezra, Nehemiah. And when the Israelites returned back from exile, the first thing they did was to annul all the marriages that existed between the Jewish people and the non-Jewish people who had taken over the land. And so the children of that union were considered to be outcasts. They did not have the pure Jewish blood in them. And so when the woman was accosted by Jesus and Jesus asked her for water, her surprise was because one, he's a man, and two, he's a Jew. What has the Jew got to do with the Samaritan, and why would the Jew ask a Samaritan woman for help? And if you remember in the same story, when the disciples came around and saw Jesus talking to the Samaritan woman, they were also shocked and surprised. A Samaritan woman. But what was Jesus trying to depict with his encounter with the Samaritan woman? All that story seeks to tell us was that God does not discriminate. Salvation is not limited to anybody. Salvation is open. As far as the individual will accept him, they are free to attain salvation. And so Christ is quoted to have said that if you want to go to the Father, you must go through him, because he is the way, the truth, and the life. And so that gives us the soteriological dimension of Christ's incarnation. Of course, just like we talked about the 10th avatar of Vishnu, the same way the incarnation of Christ has an eschatological dimension. Eschatology simply means the end of time. Christian theologians will call it the parousia. The parousia, which simply means the second coming of Jesus Christ. In the parousia, I mean, when we read the especially the book of Revelation, to some extent, Daniel, you find that these are eschatological literature that talks about the end time. When you read Revelations especially, Jesus is depicted as going to come back not as a lamb to be sent for slaughter. No. This time he's going to come back as a judge. He will be riding a white horse, holding a flaming sword that will issue from his mouth. And his intention is to destroy evil. He's going to subject us to scrutiny, and we will appear before judgment. Then you go and give your money. If your money is sweet, you know where you'll find. If your money is not sweet, you know where you will go. So let's try and wrap up on the two by just trying to look at some similarities and dissimilarities. We can say that both of them, that is Avatar and Incarnation, are all incarnate of deities. So while in Hinduism, the Avatar is an incarnation of Vishnu. In Christianity, Jesus is the incarnation of God. They both have soteriology and eschatology as their purpose. There's some similarity between the life of Jesus Christ and that of Lord Krishna. In fact, when you read some literature, they even spell Krishna with a C, not a K. We say that some differences that we can note is that in Avatar, we can count as many as 9, 10. But in Christianity, we can't count that many. And the Avatar, Vishnu came in many forms. In some form, he came as animal. In another form, he came as a beast, half man, half man. And then in some form, he came as fully man. But when we take Christ, there's only one form that he came. That is the human form. Any question? Any question, please, on Avatar and Incarnation? Hello? Have I made myself clear, please?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, Prof.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we'll thank Vishnu for giving us wisdom to teach. We'll move to this topic, the potent dead. Here we're going to look at saints and ancestors in the world's religion. Give me a jiffy, I'll be with you. the potent dead. Now, we make the point that in comparative religion or comparative study of religion, the concept or subject of potent dead refers to what we call religious intermediaries who meet between religious people and then the sacred. Religious intermediaries who mediate between the people and then the sacred. These potent dead, though we call them potent dead, may either be alive and are believed to have, or dead and are believed to have some special relationship with the Supreme Being, so as to bring benefits to humans. So we'll say that in this discussions, we're going to look at saints in Christianity, Islam, and then we'll look at ancestors in African traditional religion as potent dead. So we'll begin our first example from Christianity. From Christianity. In Christianity, we use the term or the word saints in two forms. We say that in a wider form, it is used to refer to all Christians. And so for those of you who read the Bible, as I like telling my students, it is the Apostle Peter who refers to Christians as saints. So there's even a song, when the saints go marching in, when the saints go marching in. So in that context, every Christian is referred to as a saint in the wider context. But in the narrow sense, and that is the sense we are using the term saint in this discussion, we refer to the departed Catholic faithfuls. In other words, members of the Catholic Church who have led a virtuous life, who have died and have passed on to glory, what the Catholics will call to the church triumphant. They are the ones we are using saint in this context to refer, not to the wider, bigger context as we have articulated. So the next question will be, who is a Catholic saint? Or who is a saint in Catholicism? In Catholic theology, the term saint is reserved for those individuals who have led a holy and exemplary life and believed now to have entered into heaven. And so for the Catholics, before the Catholics pronounces somebody to be a saint, then there's the strong belief among the Catholics that that individual is already in heaven. Is already in heaven. The process of becoming a saint is called canonization. It's called canonization. In the Catholic Church, there is a body responsible for the creation or the conferment of sainthood on an individual. That body is called Congregation for the Causes of Saints. Congregation for the Causes of Saints. Now, when you read the Catholic literature on how the idea of saints began and what even led to the establishment of this body, it was said that there was a point in time where people were just making other saints without even recourse to the church. There were situations where people will confer on saints, even criminals or people with questionable characters, simply because they had money, power, and influence. So the Pope then decided that enough was enough. He was going to ensure that there was order. And he established this body. I'm trying to check which Pope established it. Okay. So the Pope who established it is Pope Sixtus V in the year 1588, January 22nd. Pope Sixtus V established this body called the Congregation for the Causes of Saints. I'm told now it's called Dicastery for the Causes of Saints. Dicastery for the Causes of Sin. And so this body, it means since the year 1588, has been the body responsible for the thousands of saints who have been canonized by the church. Now, to become a saint in the Catholic Church, you must go through some steps, stages, processes. These are servant of God, venerable, beatification, and canonization. In the Catholic Church, before the process begins for you to become a saint, first of all, you should have died. There is no living saint in the Catholic Church. All the saints are all dead people. But normally, there should be 5 years interval or intervening period between your death and when the process of canonization begins. But the church has the mandate to revise that period. And so in the case of Pope John Paul II and Mother Teresa, their canonization process started few years after their death. They didn't wait till the 5 years mandatory period or the 5 years period. So theirs was curtailed for whatever reason. Now, the first stage we said is servant of God. When the 5 years is up, the bishop of the diocese, where the faithful served and died, can open an investigation into the life of the individual, all in a bid to see whether they lived their lives with sufficient holiness and virtue. So that investigation begins. The evidence that will be gathered from that investigation will be used to determine whether there is any reason to proceed or not. Now, if there's sufficient evidence that the life of the deceased member is worth looking into, then the bishop will convey the information to Rome, where the Pope will refer the matter to the Congregation for the Causes of Saints. Now we are told it's called the Dicastery for the Causes of Saints. Once the case is accepted for consideration, the individual can be called servant of God. So that will mean that that person is on his or her way to becoming a saint. But of course, the period between this and canonization can take hundreds of years. Then the second stage, when the congregation subjects the evidence to scrutiny, and they are also satisfied, and when the Pope decides that the person had lived a life of heroic virtue, then at that point, the candidate will move to the second step or layer. So he will now assume the title venerable. Venerable. So it means that at this stage, little by little, poco a poco, the person is getting closer. Then to move to the third stage, which is the stage of beatification, a miracle will have to be reported. Attributed to prayers made to the individual after their death. Now, the prayers being granted are seen as proof that the individual is already in heaven and hence able to intercede with God on their behalf. So, and normally the miracle should be a medical miracle. It should be a medical miracle because it has to be confirmed. It has to be confirmed by the Congregation for the Causes of Saints. So, what was the medical condition? How severe was it? For how long? Has the individual suffering that condition? And now, what is the condition now? After the prayer to the saint, what has happened? The person has now been completely healed. No trace of the ailment. When it is confirmed that the healing was as a result of the supplication and it's a miraculous healing, the Pope proceeds to beatify the candidate. And from that point, the candidate is called blessed. But you see, he or she cannot use the title saint yet, because that is the final stage of the process to becoming a saint. Now, the final stage is canonization. But according to the Catholic teaching, one miracle can qualify you for canonization. For example, a martyr. A martyr is someone who died for their faith. So if somebody died in the defense of the Catholic faith, and a miracle is attributed to him or her, the Pope can decide on the basis of that miracle to proceed with the final stage, which is the stage of canonization. But ordinarily, The final stage is the canonization. Before the person is canonized, a second miracle must also be announced. And when that miracle is also confirmed, the Pope will proceed to set a date for the official canonization of the individual. And at that point, the person under consideration now assume the title saint. The title saint. One may ask, what do the saints in Catholicism do? Basically, they act as intermediaries, standing between the faithfuls and God. The Catholics believe that the saints are already in heaven. And when you call on the saint, they will take their worries, their cares to God and bring you their response. And bring you their response. Any question? Any question?
Hello, sir.
Yes, go on.
I was wondering, looking at the various stages and the requirements to be canonized as a saint, I believe there have been reports about miracles. Okay, I can't confirm anyway, but reports about Mary, miracles being attributed to Mary. I know the Catholics refer to her as Blessed Virgin Mary. It's so maybe she's at the stage of beatification, but I know of several, or I've heard of miracles being attributed to Mary, and I wonder why she's still at the beatification stage and not being canonized as a saint. Thank you, sir.
Mary is a no, I'm not sure Mary. Mary is the mother of Jesus. Mary is the mother of God. So for her, she sits above the saints. Is Joseph who is a saint, so Saint Joseph. But I haven't heard of Saint Mary. If there's a Saint Mary, then probably they're referring to Mary Magdalene or some other Mary. But Mary, the mother of Jesus, sits above the saints. So she is in the league.
So she's regarded higher than a saint.
Yes, she is the mother of God.
Okay.
And she's the mother of God, so she is a different person altogether.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. Angelina, I can see your hand.
Yes, please. Nice addition. The saints, when they are being named or when the post declare them as a saint, that day remains their feast day. And in order not for the saint's name to remain, that particular saint is being named after all Catholic church or hospital. That is why Catholic hospitals or churches have saints' name like Saint Anthony, Saint Joseph, Saint Peter, Saint Paul, and the rest. And so the day that the person is being declared as saint by the Pope, that particular day, that saint is being celebrated in the Universal Church. Thank you.
Thank you, Angelina. Yes, it is true. It is very true. And you see that beyond the day being their day, they also become what we call patron saints. And so you see, so you see that this saint is patron saint of, say, medicine. In fact, when you go to a lot of the European countries, Ireland, Scotland, I'm not sure Scotland is part of it. If they have a patron saint, of course, the Anglicans broke away from Catholicism. So, but you go to Belgium and those Catholic states, Portugal, and you name them, they have patron saints. You can just do a Google search, patron saints of countries. They will pop up. Let me see while we are talking, if I can even do that. They will pop up, and then so they are also, and like Angelina rightly said, their feast days are so when I just opened Wikipedia is giving me something. So Francis Xavier, patron saint of Asia Minor. We are told Africa has a patron saint. I'm seeing for the first time Moses the Black, Our Lady of Africa. Catholics, and you haven't told us that's all this while. And Antarctica. In Europe, for example, Benedict of Nursia, Cyril, and so there are you go just Google, there are plenty of them. Patron saints. If we take countries, Albania, the Virgin Mary. Andorra, also the Virgin Mary is the patron saint. Argentina, the Virgin Mary. Armenia, Gregory the Illuminator, Bartholomew the Apostle, Jude the Apostle, and then Australia also, Austria, Azerbaijan. I mean, all these are countries probably with a predominant Catholic population, and they have patron saints. Like I said, you can have patron saint for trade, medicine, carpentry, you name them. One area that Pope John Paul II, he died of Parkinson's syndrome. And so Google and see which patron saint Pope John Paul is of. When we meet next week, you can share with us. So it's an assignment I've given you. Next week, when we meet, you tell me some of the patron saints for occupations, for business, and for countries or towns. So thank you. I think Angelina, you gave us that information. Thank you. Yes, Thomas, sorry, your hand is up. Thomas.
Yes, Prof. Please, I want to find out, apart from the Catholics, whether other denominations, they also have saints, and if they do, what are some of the processes they go through, and who declare a person to become a saint? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Thomas. For now, I know of only the Catholics. The Anglican also have saints, but I assume the saints were borrowed from the Catholics. Don't forget that until King George the What decided that he was going to divorce his wife and remarry and incur the wrath of the Pope then, England was a Catholic nation. Yeah, King Henry, thank you. England was a Catholic nation. And then, as a result of that disagreement, when the Pope said you can't divorce and remarry, he said, and go away with your church. So the Catholic Church in England became the Church of England. So one name for Anglican Church is Anglo-Catholic Church. That is another name that people call the Anglican Church. Or so as a, oh, hello.
Hi.
Yeah, you can hear me. I think
Yes, sir.
my line
At
dropped.
first, we were not hearing.
No, the line dropped. Let me give me some 5-10 minutes. My data bundle Telecel is telling me is finished. Let me buy extra before it cuts me off, please. So give me some 5 minutes. Emmanuel, I'll let you talk, but let me restore my internet.
Adịn na yɛde sentiment nkurɔfoɔ awu nipa no wu awie no fɛ na bɛyɛ ne sent Ghana deɛ nankyɛre sɛ na wɔma ne sent ma gya yɛ ne dɛn ɛmfa ma ɔwu awie no ɛsɛ woyɛ sent
Okay. So it's better the person that is wrong, they make him say.
Me I think sɛ nka yɛhwɛ onwuma pa wayɛ no a yɛbɛtumi dɛ ma sent abra ate ase na nka yɛde abɔ waba so na mawu awie kɔ no deɛ sent bi deɛ ɛbɛwie
One must first die and believed to be residing in heaven. If one isn't there, the person cannot be in heaven. You understand that, Mr. Fufi?
Hello, please. Is the lesson being recorded, Mr. Ado?
Yes.
I'm supposed to. Hey.
It's been recorded also. Those of you who don't understand why you should die before you are made a saint, we are recording you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Please, someone should help me to understand the first and the second miracle. I don't understand. What miracle do they make? Is it to raise the person from the dead, or is about the person's life, or of course the slide is saying that prayers are being said. I don't get it. Please, someone should help me.
Hello, Aunt Sandra. Can you please come again with your question?
I'm saying that Claire was talking about first and second miracle that they attributed to prayers. So I don't know. I want to understand what is the miracle for? Is it about how they died or what? I want to understand those miracles.
Oh, okay. What Prof was saying was that according to the stages of canonization or the stages, um, after being a venerable, before you are attributed as a blessed, that is the third stage. That's the beatification stage. That one, the title is blessed. And before you can be called blessed, it means a miracle has to be attributed to you. And that miracle means that they should pray through you, as in using your name. You should intercede for them. And through that prayer, a miracle must have occurred. And he said it should be medical. So, for example, assuming in a way someone has had HIV, or the person had leprosy or some kind of medical condition, and through prayer, the person was the dead person was able to intercede, or the prayer was answered, and maybe doctors check because they said it has to be verified. So maybe the doctors checked and they realized that you no longer have that condition. Then that is a miracle. That is one miracle which is attributed to you. So by that it means you can be called blessed, which is the third stage. But then for the fourth stage, which is the canonization, for you to be called saint, it means a second prayer, a second miracle normally should be attributed to you. So you have gone through the first miracle, the first miracle has been attributed to you. So you are called blessed. Now a second miracle must be attributed to you. So another person prayed and you interceded through their prayer, and the person was cured of a medical condition. So that is a second miracle. So if that second miracle is proven or has been proven, then it means that it is part of the requirements for which you can be now called a saint. Please, I hope you get it.
Yes, please. So if a prayer is said in your name and no miracle happens, you
Yes, until such a miracle can be proven.
recognize as a saint, right?
Please come again. Your line dropped for a minute, for a second there. I didn't hear you well.
And please, I was saying that if a prayer is said in your name, like we pray in the name of Jesus, if a prayer is said in your name and no miracle happens, it means the the stage is cut off. Like you can't be recognized as a saint. They can't continue.
Yes, that is it. So until another miracle is recorded and attributed to you, that is when you can move to the next stage.
Yeah, so let's also add up that for martyrs may need one. They may need one of the miracles. Thank you.
Yes, that's
thank
correct.
you. Yeah. Thank you, Matthew, for the wonderful intervention. I think you've explained Sandra's worry, and also Paul for the addition. Let me make the point that fortunately, the internet is there. Just Google the names of popes from the first Pope Peter to the current Pope Leo the is the 14th or the 12th. And you will see that some of the popes are called blessed. There are some people who, as we speak, are still under consideration for canonization, but only one miracle has so far been attributed to their name. And because of that, they cannot move to the final stage unless, like I said, the Pope decides to waive. And but even the waiving, it is really not about the miracle. It is the duration, the waiting period between your death and the commencement of the process that can be shortened. But in terms of the miracle, there should be 2 confirmed miracles. So there are some people who have started the process. They are still at the level of venerable. They are still at the level of venerable. They have not moved because miracles that will be needed to confirm their status as blessed or as saints have not been reported or confirmed. Emmanuel, your hand has been up for some time, and you can speak, please.
Okay, sir. Good
Maria, kindly switch off your microphone, please. Yeah, Emmanuel, please go on. Yeah, good afternoon.
Okay. Please, sir, my question is, are there already available names for these things? If not, why don't we hear names of things who bear their native names or names of origin? Thank you, sir.
Well, if we are lucky, when I say we, I mean Ghana. If Ghana is lucky, we are going to have the first Ghanaian saint, the former Catholic Archbishop of Tamale, Archbishop Derry, I believe that's the name. He's now blessed. He is now blessed. So he has been beatified. We are waiting for the second miracle. I'm sure when he is canonized, he's going to be Saint Derry. I don't expect him to be Saint Paul or Saint Peter or Saint John. So the names, because of the previously, if you went to school, if you ask our grandfathers, our great grandfathers, many of them had their names changed from their indigenous names to their so-called Christian names, which really are not Christian names in the first place. And so, not until my grandmother died, I didn't know she was called Mary. You know, she was a Catholic. She was a Catholic. Who is dead or alive, please? And Sarah, your question is, who is dead or alive? Is it Archbishop Derry? Or Archbishop Derry is there, but I told you that in the Catholic sense, you can't die, you can't be alive and you are being considered for a saint. You know, there's no living saint. You should have died. And even on your death, 5 years must pass before any consideration for your canonization will be entertained, unless under the some waiver is given by the sitting pope. So, like I said, if we are lucky, we are going to have a Ghanaian saint very soon. Yes, Emmanuel, is your hand still up or is the old one?
Please, sir, is the old one. Sorry, sir.
And so put it down so that I know that. Lydia.
Thank you very much, sir. So please, with all respect, I would like to know, since
Africa is yet, or let's say Ghana per se, is yet to have the first saint, probably. Isn't it possible that in this era, things could be worked out just for us to have a saint? Thank you.
I don't know how, unless maybe we talk to the, is there any Catholic here who can tell us whether it is possible? Unless if we go to Samit in Fee and get his gold board, they can give us some gold to go and beg Pope.
No, sir, no, sir, no, sir.
No, sir, please. It is not possible.
Yeah, I know. I was just joking. I don't think that, I mean, it's not possible. Thank you. Sandra.
Oh, sir, please.
Oh, yeah, sorry, Lydia. Sorry, go on.
Sir, please. I mean, with respect to the miracle, that is where I'm coming from. Maybe a good, recognized hospital can manufacture.
Well, I don't know how. Somebody must, Pope John Paul II. I remember there was a woman in Argentina who claimed that she was suffering from, was it the same Parkinson syndrome? And prayed to Pope John Paul for his intercession, and she became healed. So, like I said, for Archbishop Derry, one miracle has been reported and confirmed. The reason why he has been beatified. So if there's a second miracle, and that miracle is confirmed and certified by the now dicastery for the causes of saints, the Pope certainly will canonize him. So in terms of a hospital, I mean, there's enough medical experts to determine that somebody was suffering from a severe ailment and the person has been completely healed. I mean, there's no trace of that ailment in the person's body again. I mean, there are enough medical experts to determine that. So we're only hoping that somebody will come forward with such a claim, and when the claim is investigated and it is proven to be correct, then we'll have our first Ghanaian saint. Sandra, your hand is up, please.
Thank you, sir. And please, I wanted to ask, and that is it the church that recommends one to be considered as a saint, or is the family members of the dead person? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. The process begins from the diocese of the individual. So the diocese, people in your diocese can come together and make a representation to the bishop. That bishop, we believe that these are brother, these are sister who died. If we look at the life he lived with us, it is a life worthy of discussion. So we believe that we want you to consider him or her for the process of canonization. Now, when the bishop takes this representation, he gathers all the information, all the data about the person. And if he is convinced that there's some merit in the information, he forwards same to Rome, to the dicastery for causes of saints. They will then take over and do their own investigation. If they are also convinced that there's merit in the representation, then they will kickstart the process. So somebody must initiate the process from the diocese through your bishop, and your bishop will take it up to Rome. And when Rome is satisfied, And of course, they will carry on with the process until you finally get canonized. But like I said, there are people who have been beatified about 100 years ago. They are still waiting for a second miracle for them to be canonized. There are many people like that. When you Google, you see some of them. So that is Christianity, saints in Christianity. Now let's look at saints in Islam. Saints in Islam. In Islam, the word for saint is wali. The plural is awaliya. Now we are told that this word means someone who is very close or near to God. Because we are talking about Islam, we can remove God and make it Allah. Allah is the same as God, but just because it is Islam, let's use Allah. Now, the term is also used in the religious way to mean a person who is specially favored, but not necessarily with supernatural powers. One thing with saints in Islam is that, unlike the Christian one, using the Catholic example, where the individual must first be, or to have died first. In the case of Islam, a wali may be alive or dead. A wali may be dead or may be alive. Now, in Islam, there's some controversy about a wali, and we'll come to talk about it pretty. I'm happy there's Al-Haji here. I'm sure the other Muslim clerics on this platform, so you will also come in and contribute. Now, during the time of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, this idea of saints as intermediary figures were not known. So Islam during that time did not believe that humans can bridge the gap between them and Allah. The Holy Prophet Muhammad himself, though was seen as a friend of Allah or one close to Allah, he was just Allah's messenger and nothing more. He did not claim to have any special powers. But Islamic scholars, of course, I'm not an Islamic scholar, so let me make that clear. I'm not an Islamic scholar. My area of expertise is in ATR, comparative religion, and religion and politics. Islamic scholars make the point that the idea of wali, with all its supernatural attributes, emerged within the 1st century of Islam. Within the 1st century of Islam. And when the Holy Prophet Muhammad passed, some of his followers even attempted to attribute supernatural powers to him. We are told by the scholars that one poet, Al-Ashar, even described the Prophet Muhammad as a prophet who sees what you ordinary people do not see. when you look at the biography of the prophets, he was described as miraculously feeding people, healing the sick. And all these were couched in a way to satisfy their belief in the fact that the prophet was a wali. And these ideas laid the foundation for devotion, to saints. In fact, one scholar described it in these words: the wali, the pious, devout man, became the wali, equipped with the attribute of miracle, an intermediary, shafi, between God and man. Let me make this point also, that in Islam, the sect should be in the sect associated with the concept of the wali is the Sufi sect. The Sufi sect. The Sufi sects are the mystics in Islam. These are people who normally will lead an ascetic life. Who live an ascetic life, who are very close to Allah. They are always meditating. They are fasting. They are reading the Quran. And so they are believed to be imbued with some special power. Islamic scholars call it the Baraha. The Baraha. I mean, the K, I think, is silent, so it should be Brakha. Now, during the lifetime and even after the life of a wali, that wali is believed to possess powers to perform miracles. And you see, in Islam, the idea that saint or wali or awaliya have miraculous powers is seen and more acceptable in popular Islam than official Islam. Let me explain these two concepts: popular Islam, official Islam. By popular Islam, we mean Islam as practiced by the ordinary Muslim. The ordinary Muslim who needs his or her problem solved will have no problem contacting a wali for their solution. And so when an ordinary Muslim has a problem, going to see a Sufist, going to see a wali to seek for his help, to mediate, and to pray. For the ordinary Muslim, what we call popular Islam, they don't see anything wrong with it. But when it comes to what we call official Islam, and this is Islam as regulated by the Imams. So we say that official Islam does not approve of the role of saints. Where there are Muslims, Al-Haji spoke earlier, I'm sure there may be other Muslims. I know that you can confirm if what I'm saying is true, or maybe I'm not getting the fact correct. You can correct me. In Islam, you will not find an imam during a Friday Juma prayer telling the congregation to go and seek help in a wali. The imam will not say that. Because see, in Islam, anything or anybody that equates himself to Allah, that is considered to be shirk. And shirk is the gravest sin you can commit in Islam. The gravest sin. In some highly fundamentalist Islamic societies, like northern Nigeria, where Islam is so deep rooted, and in some communities, if you go and make such pronouncement that you could pay with your life. And so in official Islam, the idea of wali is a no. But in popular Islam, and by popular Islam, I mean the Muslim in his privacy, he needs help. It is not what the Imam says during the Juma prayer that is really his issue. He will go and see a Malam who can help him pray, write some Quranic inscriptions, wash it and drink, or see a Malam who can intervene. And like I said, for the Wali, whether the Wali is alive or dead, there's the belief that he has a power to intercede. The veneration of saints, in Christianity, in the Catholic sense, saints are venerated. I know the Catholics will tell you that we don't worship saints. We only give them honor, respect. The Wali, while alive, is approached to intercede on behalf of people, to help find solutions to their problems. Upon his death, a Wali is now believed to be more closer to and his supernatural powers are now more enhanced. And so they go to his grave. They go to his grave to go and supplicate. So that in many Islamic communities, the grave of these Awaliya have become a place of worship by his followers. And Islam, when a Muslim visits a grave of any of these saints, they call it ziyara. This is not Hajj or pilgrimage. So going to the grave of a saint to supplicate, to seek for his intervention is not the same as going to Mecca for Hajj. Any question? Our Muslim brothers, can somebody add something to it if I have not made the full fact? Alhaji, well, hope you are still there. Yeah, Cynthia, let me take your question.
Sir, please, what's the difference between Malam and what do we call it? Imam and Malam.
An imam is like the pastor, to borrow the Christian description. And then the Malam is a teacher. So when you go to the Makaranta, the Malams are the teachers. The Imam is the priest. He is the one who leads the congregation to prayer. You know, but you see in Ghana, when we say Malam, is like somebody who has spiritual powers. And it's like saying Al-Haji, Al-Haji simply means a traveler. So Ghanaians and Nigerians who love the title Al-Haji, the moment they come back from Saudi Arabia, the Al-Haji it simply means traveler, but of course that become a title of honor, showing that you have a discharge one of the most important pillars of Islam, the Hajj. But a Malam is actually a teacher. They are the ones who normally teach the Quran at the Makaranta schools, the Islamic schools. Then the Imam is the priest who leads his congregation for prayers. On a Friday, during the Juma prayer, it is the Imam who will read the Quran, read other Islamic literature, and then come and preach, exhorting the people to live a good life. And where are my Muslim brothers? I hope you are there, Alhaji. Yes, Angelina. Angelina.
Yes, sir. Please, mine is with the popular Islam and then the ordinary. Popular Islam and official Islam. When we say somebody is an official Islam or a popular Islam, so can I get the difference?
Yeah, thank you. I said when I use the concept popular Islam, I mean an ordinary Muslim who is practicing his faith and who does not have any problem going to seek help from a wali, a saint, somebody who he or she believes has the spiritual power to take care of his problems. I described as popular Islam because it is a decision taken by the ordinary Muslim. Official Islam is Islam as regulated by the Imams. And the Imams are the religious leaders who interpret the Quran, who interpret the Hadith. And the Quran and the Hadith have no place for, say, a saint, a wali. So when the Imams are strictly interpreting the Quran, they are doing so because that is the official position of Islam. That is the official position of Islam. That is why I call the Imams as the official Islam, and then I call ordinary Muslim who decide to seek help popular Islam. Yes, Salamatu.
Thank you, sir. Please, I wanted to add up to the explanation.
Please
so
do.
With the popular Islam, let's say they are the Muslims who maybe add up certain things or let's say doctrines of their own to their religion. For instance, we could say some of these Muslims or some of these popular Muslims are, let's say, those who organize parties and the rest and also visit the wali for help. But when we talk of the official Muslims, they are those who follow the rules, or maybe they follow strictly the sayings of the Quran and what is stated in the Hadith in their dealings. So with this, they don't attach anything that was not said by the Prophet or what is not in the Quran to their practice of Islam. And also, when we look at the Zihara, for instance, that's the visiting of the grave. In Ghana here, when you visit a place like Parai is, let's say, in the Bono East region of Ghana, and it is popularly dominated by the Tijaniya sects of Muslims. Here, mostly when you visit the graves of some of their imams who are the Tijaniyas, you will see that at the graveyard, the monies are being placed on their graves when they visit them. So to them, to the Tijaniyas, their believers, maybe a hungry person or the poor can visit the grave of such individuals or such personalities they see as wali, and maybe take an amount from it to feed themselves or maybe to cater for their needs. But when you look at the other set, let's say the Sunnah set, for instance, they do not believe in the wali. So definitely they will not visit the grave of an imam or any personality and maybe throw money on the grave. No. If maybe a Sunni will, or maybe a person from the Sunnah sect will visit the grave of a relative or an imam, he's just going there to maybe, let's say, pray for the dead. Thank you. This is the little I can add.
Yeah, thank you, Salamatu, and I think you have enriched the discussion. Thanks so much for sharing this very important thoughts on this subject matter. I'm sure we are all grateful. Thanks so much. Cynthia, I can also see your hand. Cynthia.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
So please, my question is: so if the official Islam, they don't believe in this wali, then why should they introduce it, or why is it exist? That's my question.
Thank you. They haven't introduced anything. I mean, like Salimatu said, in Ghana, the Tijaniya are the Sufi sect. They are the Sufi sect in Ghana. And so there's a sect in Islam called the Sufi. These are those who have the belief that they have some special relationship with Allah. And that special relationship empowers them to intervene, so to speak, to help people when they spiritually need help. But like Salamatu rightly said, if you take the Sunni sect in Islam, the Sunni sect believe that they follow strictly the teachings of the Holy Prophet Muhammad. And since the Holy Prophet Muhammad, either in the Quran or in the Hadith, did not present himself as a wali, then obviously a Sunni does not support that. But that is not to say that it is the Imam who have brought it. No, the Imams have not brought it. It is a belief or a teaching of the Sunnis, the Sufi sect, not Sunni, the Sufi sect in Islam. Like I said, in Ghana, the Tijaniya are the practitioners of the Sufi sect in Ghana. Cynthia, I hope I've explained, answered your question.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It says, so it means that nobody, like for the saints in Christianity, that we have a canonization, you have to go through this and this before you are able to be a saint. For them, it's not like that.
No,
anybody
no.
can. Okay.
Not just anybody at all. Not just anybody at all. I mean, like I said, the Sufi sect, and you must go through some kind of.
Sir.
Yes, Abdul Fattah.
I want to make a little bit contribution.
Please do.
To make clarification to what my sister is asking. Let's take the chief imam for Ghana, for instance. He belongs to the Tijaniya sect. And then, as you said, the followers of the Tijaniya started to move that due to his knowledge and the encounter he have with, should I say, the belief he has with Allah. He has gotten to a level that God has blessed him that whatever good that he says upon you, it happens. So they hold him in very high esteem. And he's not, most of them see him not to be like an ordinary person, although he's a normal person like all of us. but he's blessed with anointing. Example, one man was like, his wife, he has been married for 10 years. The wife was not able to conceive. And he went to the imam and told him that this is what he's facing. And then the imam told him that, Inshallah, by next year, your wife will give birth. Who and behold, he said, year by year time, the wife was able to conceive and give birth to a male child. And he named the boy after the imam. So you see, with that belief, they see it to be like, because he have this connection with Allah, that he's anointed. You see, and then due to this, it's not like everybody. Although we have malams, imams, and others, but not everybody is like him. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Abdul Fattah, for that intervention.
Hello, sir.
So, yes,
Hello,
please.
Sir. Yeah,
Yes, Angelina.
I think I see a connection between the Catholic saint and that of the popular Islam. For Catholics, because of the process one goes through before becoming a saint, they don't have any problem praying through such a saint to intercede on their behalf. Same as the popular Islam, they too don't have any problem contacting a wali for solutions to their problems. In Christianity, not all the Christians believe in the saint, just as the Islam. The official Islams don't approve of any wali. And in Christianity too, most Christians don't believe in the saint. So I see a connection. Or am I right or wrong?
Well, you have a point. Just that in
You saying official Muslim, someone might have problem with.
Come again. Who? Sorry.
She said official Muslims don't believe in the Sufi, and I was like, she rather use some Muslim, because you saying official Muslim, someone might feel a little bit offended. So
Oh,
okay,
I said the popular Islam. In our slides, we said that with the official Islams, they do not approve of a wali, the role of saints. That is what I said. I didn't say all of them. But for the popular Islam, I saw that, or I learned that they don't have any problem contacting any wali for solutions to their problems. Or do the official Islam also approve of a saint? Say, please, can you help us?
No, you see. Let me. I'm using these terms in context. I'm using them in context. When we say something is popular, it is like I don't know the word to use not to sound something weird. I mean, something that everybody or most people practice or agree with. It's like saying street sense. Some people will say this one is street sense. It's like almost everybody understands something like that. So by popular Islam, by popular Christianity, and we have popular Christianity. I mean, Christian practice that the ordinary Christian will subscribe to, which when you for the pulpits, the pastors will disagree with you. So in using the concept popular Islam, I'm saying that this is the idea where the ordinary Muslim is able to embrace wali and go and find solutions to his or her problem. But in official Islam, Imam will not stand in the mosque on a Juma Friday and preach and talk about the importance of the wali. No. So that is, but the people who sit in the mosque on the Juma prayer and listen to the Imam are the same people who will go out and consult a wali. because at that point they believe that the wali is the only one who can solve their problem for them. And talking about popular Islam being the same as the Catholic concept, no, I don't see the same thing. In fact, the Catholic concept is both a popular notion and an official notion. It's both popular and official. Popular in the sense that Catholics all embrace it. Official in the sense that to be a saint, the Pope must declare you a saint. So it is both popular and both official as far as canonization is concerned. Lydia, your hand is up.
Okay, thank you very much.
Lydia.
Thank you, sir. I just wanted to know if this comparison can be made with respect to the proper Islam and the official Islam.
Official Islam.
And say, please, like within the Christian sect, we have the kind of people we tag as strong Christians who encounter difficulties, but then they still remain to their faith, hoping God himself would intervene. Probably he may not, and then situations may end. And we have others who will say, oh, let me go to this Nakaba. They also use the Bible. Even though I am a Christian, I attend maybe Pentecost, but since I have this problem, I need answers. So let me go. So if the person goes and truly receives solution, she comes back to her Pentecost or maybe to give thanks, but he has sought solution to the problem. So probably if we can connect it this way, if it is possible. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I don't know whether we can connect it as easily as that, but it's a good intervention you have made. Yes, let me listen to Salama too on this subject. Yes.
Well, thank you. Please, that's exactly what I was about to say. So it's the same thing. It's the same thing. For instance, maybe you are a Muslim and you are encountering a problem. Someone may decide to, let's say, visit the shrine or maybe the church for help. In this case, you become a popular Muslim. But if you stick to the doctrines of the Quran and the Hadith, then you are an official Muslim. So that's the exact example you can give in Christianity. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Salimatu. Thank you. So let's move to Isaiah. You want to ask a question or make a comment?
So I want to ask a question. Thank you. So my question is, do you consider Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as a Muslim as a saint among the Muslims? Thank you.
No, the Holy Prophet Muhammad is not a saint.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, Salim.
Isaiah, no, please. He's considered as the last prophet and the seal to all prophets of God. So he's not considered as a saint, no.
Yeah.
So according to what you have said, after Prophet Muhammad, no other prophet will come, according to the Islamic doctrine.
Yes, please. He's the last prophet and the seal. So he ends prophethood in Islam.
Yeah, it is, but you know the controversy.
And then
you have the Fatah. Go ahead.
In Islam, we have a belief that Jesus will come back. In Islam, he will come back. Yeah, he will come and finish his mission on earth before the world will end. But
who will come back?
Please, who will come back?
He said Jesus.
Jesus.
Muslims
Jesus.
believe that Jesus will come back.
Yes. Yeah, in Islam we call him Nabi Jesus. He will come back. Yes.
Are you saying, please, are you saying?
But Abdul Fattah, when you look at the chain of prophethood, Prophet Isa, or
He's
let's say
not
Jesus
coming to.
Christ, is
He's not
mentioned as
coming
a
to.
prophet already. So he exists already. He's just
Yes.
coming to continue his work.
Yes.
But in the case of Prophet Muhammad,
That's what
he
I said.
ends
To
prophethood.
accomplish.
So he's coming with
Yeah,
Prophet
sure.
Jesus. He's just coming to continue his work. And mostly it's stated like 11 good years. He'll come back on earth for 11 years. Like the same way our Christian brothers also believe that Jesus will be coming back. So it's the same concept
Yeah.
about the coming
Yeah,
of
that is
Christ.
true.
Thank you.
That is true. Thank you. Not just to digress, you know, this subject of the Holy Prophet Muhammad being the seal of the prophet is also a contested subject matter. But like I said, I will leave that for another day. Okay.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Please,
Yes,
can
yes.
our
Who is
brothers
it?
and
Angelina?
sisters give us some names of Wale? Yes, sir. Please, Angelina. Please, my Muslim brothers and sisters, can they give us some of the names of their Wale, the Wales or the saints in Islam?
Yes,
Well,
Salimatu. Today you are my TA for today, so.
well, for the Wali I know, I only know two because I don't believe in Wali. The first one is dead. That's Ali Baba Jello. Mostly, when you go to, let's say, Omo necklace, you will see that mostly they have, I don't know, is it inscription of or something? Mostly it's in a form of necklace. Then you see his picture on it. Mostly they sell it out like the way they sell cross and other stuffs. He is dead. And when you look at his history, his graveyard can be even found in Parai, that's in the Bono East region. So mostly people do visit that place annually to pay him visits and also seek for help and guidance from him. And also we can also talk of our current chief imam, who is still alive. Yeah, most people go for him for advice and also consultation. Thank you.
Thank you,
Then
Salimatu.
they are three because Jello and Inyas, Baba Inyas. Jello
I'm
and then
sorry, that's
Imam,
why I
so they are
said
three.
that's
Who
what
are
I
dead? One.
know. Oh, okay, that's what I know. Thank you.
Okay, that's wonderful. That's wonderful.
So,
Melissa,
sir,
you want to say something? Yes.
yes, please, sir. What I want to ask is that when we look at that of the Christianity, the process of canonization, we realize that
Yes.
we have at least about 4 processes that one goes through to become a saint.
Yeah.
But in Islam, do we have something of that? We have seen veneration of saints, and under qualification, we have the poverty and renunciation,
Performance of
performance
miracles.
of miracle, popular Islam, official Islam, then the veneration of saints. Should I believe that these are the processes,
No.
or for
You
one
see,
to qualify?
I made the point that in Islam, the sect that is associated with the concept of wali is the Sufi sect. So members of the Sufi sect, because of the kind of life they lead, they are mainly ascetic in nature. They are withdrawn from society. They are always reading the Quran. They're always fasting. They are meditating. They are in tune with Allah, so to speak. they are then believed to have those powers. But you don't, because it is not an office where you are conferred by somebody, and so you must go through some process to be qualified. It doesn't follow like the Catholic concept where you follow the processes until finally the Pope declares you a saint. Daniel, your hand is up. Daniel, your hand is up.
Sorry, Doc. My phone is having a problem, so it was very difficult to unmute it. With the issue of this sainthood, and then let me talk about that first. I don't know. Actually, I at a point I wasn't online, so I don't know if it has been spoken about. I don't know whether we've dealt with the origin of it and how it's, because I know that as Christians we believe in the Bible, even though we have other traditions. So I don't know where is the foundation of sainthood. And now my last thing is that I usually think that academic study of religion should help us sort of get our minds clear, because religion already is having some kind of confusion. So I usually think that academic study of religion should help clarify things for people who seek a particular way of worship. But from what I'm seeing it right now, it's like we rather study what exists rather than trying to study something in a way as to find out its origin and then how it is being practiced, and as opposed to just looking at it as the way it is practiced currently. Because for instance, let's take it that I want to be a Christian, and then I come to, let's say, join Christianity. I think that academic study should let me know where Christianity, what do you call, for instance, sainthood. The academic study should let me know where this come from, and especially by virtue of the fact that we know that Christians believe in this, maybe the Bible. So I should see it in the Bible that this is where it comes from. And if it is not, academics, study should let us know that this one is from here or that, so that clarity can be put to issues. I don't know if you get the point I'm making, Doc.
As academics, religion is treated as an academic discipline, not as a discipline to proselytize, to make somebody a member of that discipline or that religion. Now, in terms of the origin, why not? I mean, we say that comparative study of religion is called what? History of religion. We say it is called history of religion. And the reason why, when you take a particular religion and you are studying, you go to the root of this religion. Now, in this case, we are looking at themes. We are looking at themes in the religion. The reason why we are not asking us when did Islam start, when did Christianity start, when did this start? No. Because we are only looking at the themes and trying to do some comparisons there. But you see, the essence of academic study is not to encourage anybody to be religious or not religious. That is really not our purpose. We are not studying religion academically to try to let somebody know how important religion A is from religion B. That is really not our concern. Our concern is to let people understand that there exists religion. And every religion is valid for its believers. And no one religion is better than the other. As to what you do with that information is your own problem. So when we study religion, it is not for us academics to try to rationalize anything. It is not for us to rationalize, to tell people, I mean, Christianity started because maybe the time of Jesus, there was so much evil, and so people should shun away from evil. That is why Christianity came. No, that is not why we study religion. When we are talking about the history of a religion, it is not to let people say that this one, because it started in this manner, it is better. No. So academics don't study religion because we want to portray a particular religion in a good light. That is not why we study religion. We study purely for academic purpose, to let people know why that religion exists. Beyond that, what you do with the information is your own problem. Now, you can see that when you go to the slide, we talked about the beginning of the Wali, or when it started, that this idea, Islamic scholars believe, emerged within the 1st century of Islam. So the idea of the Wali was not always there in the time of the Prophet. It emerged later. And so in discussions like this, we always go back to try to understand the origin of the phenomenon, if that origin is known. You get me? So a comparative religion, or the study of religion for that matter, is not intended in any way to cast a religion in good light or in bad light. That is not why we study religion academically. Matthew.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. I had earlier wanted to respond to Mr. Daniel Dapa for his question. So I would want, as you explained earlier, I wanted to add that the study of religion, as we mentioned earlier, was not to, as you said, cast one religion over another, but to make an academic study, and it is not meant to convert. So maybe if one were willing to study a religion in order to be part of them, then maybe perhaps the theology seminary would have been a better an academic study of religion. That's what I wanted to add, sir. Thank you.
Sir, please, we can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, thank you, Matthew, for your discussion. Letitia, your hand seems to, your microphone is on. You want to say something? Okay. So now let's go to ancestors. I'm sure as for this one, we all have ancestors, so we are going to mention the name of our ancestors. cult of the ancestors. By this, we refer to the system of beliefs and practices associated with the special dead and their relationship with the living and society at large. Now, in the indigenous African society, it is not all the dead people who become ancestors. And ancestorship is simply a conferment, a recognition of the community, of the services of an individual. Now, the ancestor must be dead. To be conferred as an ancestor, you ought to have died. That death must be what we call a good death. A good death is a death that occurs when the individual lives to some respectable old age, did not die from some sickness, did not commit suicide, did not die through accident, did not die through murder or any of those. When somebody unfortunately dies through any of these means, it is considered a bad death. To be considered, let me finish and you can ask your question. To be considered an ancestor, another thing that the people look out for is whether you left behind a child or children. Is an important concept. And also your moral life. Your moral life is important. That if you are going to be considered an ancestor, you should have been somebody who led a virtuous life, a good moral life, who want to be associated with you when you were considered to be a criminal, a murderer, somebody who obviously did not mean well for members of the society. And so in indigenous African society, the age you died is key. And the number of children you left behind, and of course, the kind of life you led is also key. Yeah, Pokia, you want to ask a question or say something? Josephine. Josephine, your hand has been up since the first comment.
Please, I wanted to ask you, you said once you be called an ancestor, she shouldn't die of a sickness. And I wanted to know why. Because we know for sickness, when one falls sick and die, that person didn't die intentionally, like he didn't hang himself or herself, or he wasn't a murderer, or they didn't murder the person. So I don't know why, if one falls sick and dies, then that person can be called an ancestor.
You know, what kind of sickness? When you die of old age, of course, the person is 80, 90, 100. The person definitely may be admitted or probably even die in the sleep after some very few days of ailment. But if somebody died of some very serious ailment and the person was especially young, in fact, if I was discussing ATR proper in ancestorship in ATR, I would have gone into more detail. This at this level is just for the purpose of example. That is why I've been very brief on it. We when it comes to death and the kind of ailment is important. It's not until you fall that the kind of ailment. Let me take this call. I'll do it.
So in this case, if you lead a good life and you die of HIV/AIDS, you can't be considered as an ancestor, Piana.
No,
Yeah.
no, I don't think so. Me sure, but what you are saying too, I think we might have a person because this are all that says we can consider the fact of the childbirth, your moral life. And then my sister was asking that what if the person die of sickness? Okay, let's take it. Maybe the person was able to give birth to maybe 10 children, which all the children have lived a good life. And then checking the moral life of that person too, the person was able to live an exemplary life. And then all of a sudden the person died of a sickness. So will you consider the person like would you consider him as an ancestor or like because per the picture you have given, when a person dies of sickness, is not considered as an ancestor. Here's the case: life to he has been forth a children, he has lived a moral life, a good life, and died of sickness. So here would we say the person is not an ancestor or because he died
was
of
the person's age? It will depend on the age.
pardon?
40,
The
20,
age.
or what?
The
What
person
age?
was
Yes.
around.
She should be an old person.
The person passed 50 years.
50.
Okay, if it's an old person.
Let me come in. Like I said, when we the indigenous people are conferring, ancestorship is more of an honor they give the dead. And it's not everybody who dies and the community confer ancestorship on them. And you get to know when the people are praying, they will call your name. And so somebody who did not live to the expectation of the community, they virtually forget your name. They virtually forget your name. And so for them, it's like you never even existed. Now, in terms of sickness, there are some very horrible sickness that people don't want to talk about. You get me? You fall ill, some ailments are considered to be some in our part of the world, some sickness that leads to death is so shameful that people don't even want to talk about it. People don't want to talk about it. And such a person, the community will feel reluctant to call you in their prayers, to confer ancestorship on you. But you see, unlike the Catholic Church, which is a formal recognition ceremony, in the indigenous society, there is no ceremony to say that, well, as for this person, Jacobina will call your name, but Ejakweku, no, he was that wicked. So no, there's no formal ceremony And all this discussion we do, it is scholarly discussion. You go to the people, nobody tells you about these things we say. It is us scholars who have done the analysis who have come to this conclusion. When we say death, bad death, you get me? Sickness, some sickness is considered to be tofu, bad death. And especially the age, your age. In terms of the qualification, in terms of, yes, I mean, if the person died, an old person, but didn't leave a child behind, unless maybe the person, because of his vocation, probably is not supposed to have children. If the person was a priest or priestess, and as priest or priestess, the person is not supposed to. Is not supposed to have children. That will not be used against the person. You get me? That will not be used against the person. I mean, in indigenous society, when we are calling an ancestor, it should be an ancestor that the society will be proud of. We can't be mentioning an ancestor who didn't really show any respect for society, more or less. Now, what do ancestors do in the indigenous society? They ensure morality in the society. If you go to the indigenous society, when we teach ATR, we say that the ancestors, and this one I'm trying to borrow the words of K. Buzia, our former prime minister. He has a book, I think that was even his PhD, which he published, The Position of the Akan Chief in a Modern Political System. And in there, he talks about the ancestors as the guardians of the moral code. And they can even punish with death anybody who breaks them. Ancestors ensure that the moral code of the community are adhered to. So if the elders sit back and they allow morality to be thrown to the dogs, the ancestors can intervene and deal with people. The ancestors also provide healing for the sick. We have had people who have said, "Oh, this medicine that I have come to know, it was my grandfather, my grandmother, my family member who came to me in a dream and taught me how to prepare this medicine." In our African society also, ancestors help in the selection of a leader. You know, quoting Buzia again, our ancestors are the owners of the political power. So when you take, and of course, Buzia was writing among the Akan. So when you take the Akan people, their chiefs sit on stools. So Buzia will say that the ancestors are the chiefs sit on the stool of the ancestors. They sit on the stool of the ancestors. Before the ancestors are even, the chiefs are even selected, elders consult the ancestors to know who among the eligible royals they will permit to come and sit on their stools. Of course, they also help to provide justice in the society. They guide the elders. They guide the elders and ensure that when decisions are to be taken, the decisions that will be taken will be fair to whatever party they are deciding on. And there are situations where when people take decisions and those decisions are not fair, the ancestors can intervene. Buzia in that book give a story. He said that there was this man who was old. He was on his deathbed. He knew that he may not survive. So, you know, the Akan customary succession. It is your brother who will succeed you. So his brother who was going to succeed him, he calls him and said, I mean, from the look of him, he's afraid that he may not survive this sickness. So he passed. And this brother succeeds him. And before the man died, he said, when I die, I have this cocoa farm in this place. Please, it is for my elder son. Give it to him. The brother said, you Marty. When he died, instead of giving the cocoa farm to his brother's son, he confiscated it and took it for himself. Now, one day he climbed his own roof. You know, the olden days, it is the thatch roof. Not today. We are using zinc and asbestos and other technology to mend his thatch roof, and then he slipped and fell heavily. Then he realized that the fall was going to affect him. He may also not survive the fall. So he calls his brother, who is likely to succeed him also, and said he believes that what is happening to him is because of what he had done to his brother. What did you do? Well, you see the cocoa farm at this village. Our elder brother said when he passed, I should give it to his son. But I failed to do so. And I believe that the ancestors are angry and they are calling me to come and account for my actions. The reason why I have fallen. So please, the man too did not survive the fall, he passed. And when the second brother succeeded, the first thing he did was to hand over the farm to their brother's son. Well, he doesn't want any problem. He didn't want to die like the elders. And so the ancestors are always there to ensure that justice is served. And anybody who decides the people believe. I mean, of course, today things have changed. And so some of these things we say, somebody will give you an example, oh, my father died, his brother took over and confiscated everything, and he's still alive. He has not died. Of course, I mean, things have changed. We can't tell what is happening, whether the ancestors themselves have given up on us or not. But
some even says the ancestors, they give autonomous. So these days, they say the ancestors, some give autonomous.
Oh yeah, some people believe that they give autonomous. But unfortunately, none of my ancestors have given me lotto number before. So I can't confirm that. But there are some people who say that their mother died, and then they slept, and their mother gave them tuition. They went and staked it, and they won. I don't know. Of course.
Sir, please.
Some people. Yes, Lydia, we are listening.
So please, when it comes to the medication, I know of one woman. She's an Anglican, and she holds a position in the church. She fell ill for some time. She has all her children abroad. They all did everything, and the health was still deteriorating. But one day she said she dreamt, and she was in the dream, the person came to her house, the forecourt, and then planted a tree. That is the medication to the antidote to her illness. She woke up, and really the plant she saw was the biwa. She had no plant in front of her house, but she woke up, and then the plant is there even to today. So she, being an Anglican, she has even erected a small statue of Mary just right beside the plant. And with that too, she really got well. That is what she said. But what I know is the plant was not, because I was going there to teach the grandchild. But she woke up and the plant was, and the plant is still there, and it helped her. So somehow I think it works. Maybe you don't get a lotto number because they know you don't stake. Even if they give you, you will not. So they will not waste their resources of giving you the lotto number.
Yeah, that may be true. That may be true. But like you rightly said, in terms of even the medication, at times, you could in the dream, a family member who is not well, another family member who has died can reveal solutions to members. So take these herbs and go and give to your sister or your brother or your whatever. And so the ancestors are believed to, in fact, the Yoruba believe that the ancestor of healing is called Agu. Agu, so that not the Yoruba, the Igbo. Sorry, if I say Yoruba, that is not correct. The Igbo of Nigeria, Agu, that they can appeal to Agu for knowledge of herbs and other things. Now, one thing with the ancestors, which I said, is that they have the power to punish. The ancestors can punish, even with death. Yeah, if you flout the moral codes. Okay, so the ancestors brings to an end the concept of the potent dead. We have looked at saint in Christianity. We have looked at saint in Islam. And we have looked at ancestors in ATR. When we meet next week, God willing, we're going to look at suffering in the world's religions. Let me see. So we'll take an example from Christianity, Buddhism, Islam, and then we may end with sacrifice in the world's religions, which will be the last week. So next week, God willing, we will look at suffering in the world's religion. Okay. If there's no question, I think it's 3:30. We've been speaking for almost three and a half hours. I think we are tired. The throat is dry. We can call it a day for today. God willing, next week, Saturday, we'll look at suffering in the world's religions. Okay. Good afternoon, colleagues. I'll see you, God willing, next week.
Sir, please, is
Good
it
afternoon.
Saturday or Sunday?
God bless you.
Come again,
Is
please.
Please, are you meeting on Saturday or is Sunday? I want to know whether
No,
you have added Saturday to it.
we agree that we are maintaining the Sunday.
Okay, I thought maybe we have changed it. I didn't join the class from the beginning. That's why I'm asking.
No, we haven't. We are maintaining the Sunday.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, bye.
Bye, sir.
Brother Isaiah. Isaiah.
But you can just say Waba.
Hello, Mr. Salamat, are you there?
Yes, please.
Please, do we have divisions in Muslim or in
Do we have
Islamic?
what? Division, yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes, please. We do have. Some even claim they are 13, others to claim they are 11 in number.
Okay.
But the common ones in Ghana here are the Sunni sects. We have the Tijaniya, also known as the Faila. We also have the Ahmadis, the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission.
Ahmadiyya. Yeah.
Yes, please. We have the Shia sects.
Okay. But you all believe in Allah and also
Yes,
Prophet
please.
Muhammad.
We all believe in Allah and the Prophet, but you see, sometimes some of the sects, like the way majority of the Christian sects broke away from the Catholic Church.
Oh,
You see, for
okay.
instance, the Anglicans, or let's say the Pentecostals, they have added some aspects to the Catholic teachings, and they have removed some from it.
Yeah.
Likewise, the Muslim sects is.
Okay.
Please, are you okay with it?
Yes, I'm okay. But so what we were talking about earlier about the wali. So does it mean that when we come to Christianity, we have our prophets? Like I have my pastor who is also a prophet. So if I have any problem, I can go there, talk to him, whatever that he will do for me for my problem to be solved. So are we saying that the walis in your in Islam, they are also like what we call prophets? That they are not prophet too, but I'm comparing it to Christianity. That for us, when we have problems, you can go there. They have eyes. They say they see from afar. That is spiritual eye. So does it mean that yours too is the same? That they also have
please.
that they see things which has been hidden that we don't know.
Yes, please. You see, some even go to the extent once we go high. I don't know if you understand the Ghanaian language.
Yes.
Or say me call and the rest. We have some walis that, let's say, they term them, those who believe in them, sometimes tend to call them malams.
Okay.
Then maybe now or maybe he writes in the sun, and maybe when he went there to seek for his destiny. We have others too, when they are sick, they can contact the wali. Then maybe they will write some prayers or something for them on let's say tablets for them to be washing and be drinking it in order for them to get healing as soon as possible. So it's more like what we have in Christianity, but it's just that it's the name that changes.
Oh, okay. Hey, your network.
Please, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes,
I can
please.
hear you.
Yes, I wanted to know that this was Malam that's good. I think the
Hey, the
same
line
as
is really
Hey,
breaking.
you're lying. You're lying. You're lying. So okay, let me ask this again.
Okay.
Yeah, do you know the reason why I asked about the imam and the malam?
Mm-hmm.
In our place, those malam over there, they go there
Mm-hmm.
for a visa.
Good.
Yes,
You see,
that's why I asked about the malam and the imam. Because me malam a minimum no malam omo kama for
you see, mostly those terms. You see, in Islam, for instance, most of our terms are being derived from the Arabic language. And
Okay.
when you look at the Arabic language, an imam is a leader. For example,
Okay.
someone who leads prayer, congregation, and other stuffs. And
Okay.
the malam is a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
But that same malam have two definitions.
Okay.
But when you
Okay.
look at the literal definition, it refers to as a teacher.
A teacher,
And the
yeah.
other and the other definition too is someone on a divine,
Mm-hmm.
let's say divine will be
Divine.
a
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
So, but mostly when we talk of the malam, yeah, my dream could see divine and also. But basically, when we talk of a malam is a teacher.